Hey guys, just wanted to give you your weekly video. I did it a little late, had a busy weekend. I'm actually building my daughter a bed. So hopefully I'll get that finished tomorrow. The paint is drying as we speak. Um, but wanted to do a couple of different things. One, let's give you a little talk about chapters 1 through 10. So far, you've met all the characters. So you've got the point of the story at this point. You have Jonathan gets trapped at Castle Dracula. I know it says that he's a solicitor. In British terms, that would make him a lawyer. And you got to think about it this way: Count Dracula would be a big high-end foreign client. So of course he is traveling to Count Dracula to get all the paperwork and stuff, even though it's just a real estate deal kind of idea. But walking him through it kind of idea because big client, just like today. So he ends up doing that, but of course he ends up realizing there's something very off. And then the big stuff, like he can't see him in the mirror. He ends up falling asleep outside of his room, and he meets the Weird Sisters, which is what they're known as, but they're also known as Dracula's wives, but the three women. Um, so he knows something is very wrong. And then, of course, he sees Dracula climbing outside of the window. The woman's child gets eaten. She gets eaten, or at least fed to the wolves, kind of idea. And then switches bright and sunny. Mina and Lucy are on vacation. So it's a startling contrast, but you realize that it's actually happening at the same time. You pay attention to the dates written. But of course, Mina knows nothing of what's going on with Jonathan, that dramatic irony. But then with Mina and Lucy, you get that there is something weird going on, especially with the sleepwalking stuff. Um, that has to do a lot with the vampire lore. So I guess you say vampire mythology, a vampire can't enter a home unless invited. So that's the idea, is that he is having to control Lucy and make her sleepwalk so that he can get to her because he can't actually enter her home. And of course, I hope you figured out that the ship's log that crashed and everything, and the big black dog that jumped aboard. I hope you figured out that was Dracula on his trip to England, where he basically just fed on the crew in order to survive. And then the big dog was him jumping off, and that's how he got there. The other thing that you'll realize that's been going on is the giant boxes of soil. That's the other little bit of vampire lore. You know, is the idea is that vampires can only sleep in the dirt they were originally buried in. Like I said, it's all just a horror mythology. So these are the rules. So that's one thing just to understand if you're not understanding why they're moving these giant boxes of dirt. But that's why. Um, then you also meet Renfield, and it's obvious that Renfield. I mean, even Dr. Seward calls him a zoophagous, a life eater. But he's not a vampire. So one of the things that is pointed out is that in the story, Stoker actually wrote an original short story to this called Dracula's Guest. And the idea of it, and you'll find it in some of your copies, might be like a preface, chapter. Um, you can find it sometimes. But anyway, Jonathan Harker was not the first lawyer that came out to help him. That it actually was R.M. Renfield that came out and helped him. And Dracula didn't turn him, but he basically drove him insane. And he wants to be like Dracula, and he wants that power and to live forever and everything. So that's why he's doing that, and that's why he's insane. Um, We also, now Lucy is much more hurt. Abraham Van Helsing is brought in, and he obviously knows what's going on, but he hasn't told anyone. Because I mean, honestly, like we know what's going on as the audience. Um, who would believe him? Some doctors like, "Yep, she's a vampire." Most people are going to lock him up. So he knows what's going on and is treating her for it, but um, can't tell anyone at this point. Later on, obviously, it comes out. But that's real quick and dirty. The first 10 chapters. Obviously, lots more detail, lots more information and stuff. One of the things that I do want y'all to notice and start thinking about is the fact that it is an epistolary. So one of the things that Van Helsing had that Stoker had to do was there are different rules to different writing. Like a very quick and easy example is think about the way you talk. The way you talk to your friends is not the way you talk to your parents, which is not the way you talk to your boss, or which is not the same way that you would talk to your coach. It's all those different things. There are different rules, and you sound different, and all that. So it's the same idea. Is that he's actually having to do this. We have a professional journal with Jonathan Harker. It's his work journal kind of idea. You have the friendly letters between Mina and Lucy. You have Dr. Seward's medical notes. You have the telegrams between Seward and Van Helsing. You have the newspaper report between Berserker, the wolf, but then also the mysterious ship. So all of these have different rules for writing. So it's just kind of cool to see how Stoker was able to switch between these different styles of writing. That might be something important that comes up later, maybe with something you have to do. So you might want to pay attention to that. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So the other things that I wanted to remind y'all of, good news, you have nothing due this week. This is simply a week for you to catch up, a week for you to read. Your next write up will be chapters 11 through 20, but that won't be due until May 8th. So this week and then next Friday. So really, there's nothing other than reading to do right now. A reminder, and I want to talk to y'all about this and make sure y'all understand. I've tried to balance between Tomball ISD and Lone Star Tomball, all the requirements for you. The biggest thing is I want y'all to remember that this being a dual credit class, the college is looking at this as business as usual, essentially. It's online, but grades, everything like that is going to count as normal, is going to be as normal, and it's just going to be a regular semester. So all of these grades that you're turning in, you need to turn them in. Is take advantage of this week that you don't have anything extra to do or anything new to do. But on the flip side of that, it's a little good news with that. They have kind of opened things up for leniency with professors and whatnot. So I'm not counting off for late grade. I will take late grades. Normally in the college setting, if it's due at midnight at 12:01, it's a 0. No, this is a totally new and unique situation. So I will take any work that you haven't turned in, but you have completed. Turn it in. All right. I will take it at this point. Just remember that the college and your grade as far as the college is still going on. So other than that, please feel free to email me, message me. Any issues, any questions, anything like that, guys. I am here to help y'all as much as I can in any way that I can. And I really hope that beyond the schoolwork and everything, now that this is kind of normalizing, I hope y'all are actually kind of enjoying it. And like I said, I'm making my daughter's bed. You're trying some different stuff and just sort of using your time wisely. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.